So, next chapter we're looking at, well, we're going to look at fertility treatment. Fertility treatment is used when people want to have children but are unable to conceive naturally. Usually this is because of some kind of medical problem. However, there are different Christian attitudes, as with most of these things, to fertility treatment. Let's give you some main facts here. IVF, often referred to, or in vitro fertilisation, involves the egg and the sperm being brought together in a test tube. If conception takes place and an embryo is formed, it's placed inside the woman's uterus. Another method of fertility treatment is artificial insemination. Sperm is collected and placed in the woman's uterus artificially. Sometimes it's the husband's sperm, we might refer to it as AIH, artificial insemination by husband, or sometimes the sperm that's used can come from an anonymous donor, AID, artificial insemination by donor. The law now states that anyone donating sperm or eggs has to provide their details, and at the age of 18, a person conceived in this way can actually seek out their biological parents. In fact, the Human Fertilisation and Embryology Act of 1990 talks about the law on this case. Frozen embryos can be stored for a maximum of 10 years. However, these can only be implanted if both used if both partners agree. And scientific experiments may only be carried out on embryos up to until 14 days after conception, and after this time they must not be kept alive. Now, some Christians believe that fertility treatment should be encouraged because they bring about a lot of happiness for the people who would have otherwise not been able to have children. Other Christians believe that fertility treatment is wrong. They they consider that God chooses whether people have babies or not, and this is kind of part of the teaching of the sanctity of life. You shouldn't really play God. Roman Catholics believe that life begins at conception, as we mentioned on one of the previous videos, and this causes a big problem for them in fertility treatment, such as IVF, which produces these spare embryos, because some of these embryos will be thrown away during the process, or stored or used in medical research. And they believe that it goes against the sixth commandment, because obviously they feel that each of those embryos is a human being, and throwing them away is obviously killing them. So it goes against that sixth commandment. A Roman Catholic Church would also kind of state that they don't believe that having a baby is a God-given right, but actually it is a divine gift. And also, finally, the Roman Catholic Church are opposed to AID, so that's artificial insemination by donor, because they think that the introduction of a third party, a donor sperm, is actually a form of adultery, which again is against one of the commandments. A key biblical reference here is often made to a woman called Hannah, who in the Old Testament she couldn't have any children for many years because God had closed her womb. You can find that in 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 5. Now, something to remember: some people object to fertility treatments because they might be used by people who are in a homosexual relationship or are not in a relationship at all but still want to have children, or perhaps they've passed the natural age for childbearing but still want to have a baby. Many people would argue that that isn't natural, whether for age or having a same-sex relationship to create these babies. Keywords: AID, artificial insemination by donor; AIH, artificial insemination by husband; and IVF, in vitro fertilisation. Okay, hopefully that sees you through to the next bit.